This is a public service announcement. This is a public service announcement. What you're about to listen to may make you yell, shout, smile, and even laugh out loud. Youth baseball players, coaches, and fans join the Slide Podcast crew on their journey to make baseball fun again. Hear stories from players of all ages, plus tips and tricks from coaches and scouts. Now, if you're ready, give us a loud play ball.
Gotta say it, Allie. Play ball.
I thought that was yours.
Oh, yeah. I'm just getting used to listening to the recording like that while we're actually, playing. So we'll have to come up with something good for that one. So welcome back to the Slide Podcast. So this is a special episode that we're doing the first time that we've done one like this. So I'm joined by Coach Allie. How are you doing, ma'am?
Another great weekend of baseball spent. So another good weekend.
What's new in the world? What's new in the West Coast? Anything new out there?
I think we're starting to get some summer weather finally. We got the June going, so it's like overcast, hazy in the morning, low 60s, and then it gets to like upper 80s, low 90s during the day. So
yeah, well, you're still not going to find any sympathy from me for that one. So it'll be okay. So how are the Dodgers doing this year? Are they doing okay?
Yeah, we're going through a little bit of an injury bug right now is what it seems like. And for everyone kind of hating on them and some of the roster moves they made, I think we're doing pretty well. Kershaw's staying healthy, so that's all you can be happy.
Right. And Mookie's doing okay?
I love Mookie. He can do bad and we're still going to love him, but he's holding it down.
I went to a Greenville Drive game today, which is I think it's a high single A for the Red Sox, and out of Greenville, South Carolina. And Mookie Betts played there back a while back. I took a picture of his plaque on the wall. So that was kind of cool. All right. So today is a special episode because we are talking to the Harry Dallara Foundation. We have our guest today is Adrian Dallara. He's one of the representatives from the foundation, and they've used us to help promote an event they got coming up, and they do a lot of work in the communities throughout the country when it comes to youth baseball. So that's who we're talking to today. So Adrian, man, how are you doing, sir?
Good. Thanks for having me, Aaron.
Yeah. So we're working an event together in North Carolina. And, I've had a few questions about what's the Harry Dallara Foundation. So tell us a little bit about the foundation, where it started, and like how you got involved.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. So, I guess we'll start with my grandfather, Harry Dallara, and in many ways, he was the ultimate hero for me growing up as a child. Has a huge love and affinity for baseball. Was a huge Yankees fan. Always had these great stories to tell about growing up as a child in the Bronx. And I guess we'll kind of start with his childhood. He was born in the Bronx, New York. His parents, my great-grandparents, are from a little small town in northern Italy called Bedonia. And he spent his adult life following active service in World War II. And that's what ultimately led him down to Spartanburg, South Carolina. And when he passed away, the foundation was formed in 2014 to honor the legacy of my grandfather, his love of sports, his love of baseball, and to promote baseball among diverse youth in both South and North Carolina. So the foundation was really set up after he passed away in 2012, 2 years later, to just give back to the community for things he was so passionate about, specifically family, baseball, and motivating youth to be the best version of themselves every day.
Well, so I know the foundation's been around for a little bit. What's your role with the foundation?
Yeah, so his son, my uncle, is the chairman of the board, and I'm the vice chair on the board of directors. And he and I kind of run a lot of the logistics, the fundraising activities, which the Slide Podcast is going to be part of. Really excited about that, by the way. Yeah. We reach out to community partners. We do a lot of fundraising events, and we're now working on our second and third ballpark, but we'll get to future projects later. But right now, the board is made up of about 8 friends and family members of my grandfather. We meet on a regular basis and look at communities that have an opportunity to renovate ballparks. And that's the purpose and the mission statement of the foundation, is to renovate those ballparks, specifically in low-income areas, to promote diverse minority youth and organized sports, the sport of baseball.
That's cool. So how many projects have you guys finished so far? So I think you've completed one, right?
Correct. That's the one in Tryon, North Carolina at Harmon Field. And we had a grand opening ceremony. Believe it or not, we did this in 2021 towards the tail end of the peak of COVID, even though COVID is still around in some form or fashion. And now we're moving on to a project for Duncan Park in Spartanburg, South Carolina. That's our next renovated ballpark we're going after.
Awesome. Well, I know. So what was it like running the foundation and trying to pull together resources? Like when you think about a foundation being started and a purpose like you guys have of you're restoring and rebuilding ballparks for youth, did you find a lot of help along the way, or like who helped in that project?
Yeah, to be honest, at first it was a little tough to just establish who we were. Most people didn't know my grandfather, even though he lived to be 95 and he was very active in the community. So, we tried to have a very clear purpose and then manifest that purpose and mission statement throughout my uncle's network. So that's been a big help because he has an international finance career. So he has a lot of friends and family members around both the United States and throughout the world that want to find a nonprofit to contribute to. And most of them are pretty huge baseball fans. And, they got a big affinity for the Yankees like my grandfather did. So the very first fundraiser was going back to 2012, believe it or not, at the Four Seasons in New York City, New York. And it was pretty cool because we had a big turnout, probably around 200 plus people. And my uncle was able to utilize his network to acquire some pretty cool memorabilia. We had about 5 autographed baseballs from Derek Jeter, some autographed A-Rod balls, just a lot of Yankees merchandise that we had set up and we auctioned off. And it was enough material, frankly, to auction off for over 2 hours. So we had about I'd probably say, Aaron, about 100 items total. So that was the first main fundraiser we did. And then over the next few years, it took us about 7 years to finalize the park that's in Tryon at Harmon Field. And the thing about the park, and we'll do this at every single ballpark we renovate, is for this particular part, you'll see a statue of my grandfather with a little tiny plaque kind of about his childhood in the Bronx, being a Purple Heart, World War II veteran, et cetera, relocating to Camp Croft in Spartanburg, South Carolina. And then you'll also see a bas-relief plaque, and this is on our website, harrydallarafoundation.org as well. But the cool thing about the bas-relief plaque is it features the Tryon All-Stars, and they were the first African-American minor league ball team in North Carolina, and they weren't allowed to play on Harmon Field. So that's a tribute to them, and we were able to have the living members of the actual team. I think there were 2 surviving members. One is still with us right now from the Tryon All-Stars at the ribbon cutting ceremony in 2021. So for subsequent ballparks, we're going to do a statue of a veteran in the area instead of my grandfather. So we would honor a local veteran, a war hero, and then we would have another plaque. So in Spartanburg, Duncan Park's case, it'll be the Spartanburg Sluggers to honor the African-American ball teams of the community and to kind of right the wrongs of the past, in other words.
That's crazy. That's awesome. Not crazy, but awesome. Allie, I saw your face light up with a couple of things he said there, most specifically the Derek Jeter balls, right?
Yeah. Although I'm from Los Angeles, Derek Jeter is my favorite player. So to see 5 Derek Jeter balls, I might cry. Sign autographs, just perfect. But when you say like restore the ball field, are you just restoring the dirt and the grass, or are you talking about dugouts? Are they getting bullpens?
Yeah, great question. And it's going to be really exciting to go back on the 10th for the event that we'll talk about later. But what we did for this first ballpark, aside from the bas-relief plaque and the actual statue, is we put all new turf down. So the grass was in really bad condition. We actually put turf inside the pitcher's mound, so there's grass there as well. And then we actually updated the Little League scoreboard, and it's pretty cool. It has it looks like a super
It works.
iPad. Yeah. You use it, Aaron. It's really cool. So we added a Little League scoreboard in the back left-hand side of outfield near the third baseline. We didn't add dugouts per se, but we added all new benches and like a stone wall running path. So when you look at the plaza, so to speak, you have this huge sign that says Harry Dallara Ball Field, and it's behind home plate. And then facing that huge sign is the statue of him at age 93, kind of swinging the ball bat. On the left-hand side, you have all new bleachers. You have kind of a canopy there to protect you from the sun. On the first baseline, all new bleachers. et cetera, new chain link fence. And then the cool thing
they
is
did it up. They did it good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think all in, it was around a $750,000 project just to get everything renovated. Then when we add in the scoreboard, it was well over $1 million. So it took quite a while, about 7 years in total. But if you haven't been there, or if the listeners aren't familiar with Tryon, North Carolina, it's a really, quaint little town at the kind of borderline between South Carolina and North Carolina at the foothills. And the thing about Harmon Field is where the foothills are, you've got the mountains kind of surrounding the ballpark, and it's gorgeous. And then there's an equestrian field right across from the first baseline where they have horse competitions. But to answer your question, we pretty much renovated everything. And I got some cool before and after photos. If you want to see it on the actual website, Harry Dallara Foundation.org.
Yeah. I think it'd be cool for us to put those up there and just show the before and the after. Because look, I can tell you, just when you said working scoreboard in the youth community, that's a big deal. Allie, like, I know you got big money fields out in California. Like, does the scoreboards work?
Half the time, no.
Okay.
The other half of the time, like, that's super important, right? Because when the kids start questioning balls and strikes, they can turn around and then the umpire visibly sees them ask a question, and the photos in front of the scoreboards where it's like, I mean, mine at least said Crescenta Valley Little League. Then you take your team photo in front of that, like, that's a memory you have for life. So even just putting a scoreboard up is huge.
Yeah. Well, it was so funny. So this is my first time right now. My son made the all-star team and I am not coaching. So first time my son is playing baseball and I am personally not coaching. And sorry, Adrian, I get on these tangents sometimes, but like I sat back and Allie, I looked at every field that we were at and there's a scoreboard in the outfield. And I had never noticed there was a scoreboard there because they've never worked. So like I looked at my wife and I was like, did you know there's a scoreboard out there? Like, as a coach, I've never even focused on anything like that. So I felt kind of bad, but at the same time, they don't work. So there's plenty of reasons for me not to feel that bad. Anyway, so getting back to it. So you guys had a big kickoff event, right? So when you opened up that Tryon Park, you guys invited the community out. You had a big event, right?
Yeah. We had an opening speech. There was probably roughly, I'd say, around 250 people there. And I think the population is maybe around 2,000 total. So pretty big turnout. We kind of went old school, passed out some flyers. We knew the turnout might be low because, again, COVID, it was still 2021. But like you guys were saying, it was pretty crazy to see some of the responses because a lot of the kids just aren't used to seeing infield grass. It's like rare for a youth ball field, or like you said, the kind of bright scoreboard, or the fact that there's an irrigation system. So the grass, like if we went down there tomorrow morning, it would look plush, nice and thick, like your facial hair, Aaron.
Yes,
really
sir.
Yep. Yeah. So about 250 people. It was a good turnout.
Yeah. Well, I know we're excited about the one coming up. So you guys moved through the Tryon, redid the Tryon field. And you've mentioned already that you guys have taken on the Duncan Park. So if you guys are Philly fans or baseball historians, I guess that's the right word, right? Allie, historians? Is that the right word? Okay. All right.
Yeah. Our Dodger historian is great, by the way.
What's that?
Our Dodger historian is great, by the way.
Oh, is he?
You guys know. But anyway, sorry.
All right. Well, so the Spartanburg Phillies used to play it in this area. And quite a few Philadelphia Phillies came through that park. But there's some surrounding parks around that for the youth. And you guys are doing a pretty big project there, right, Adrian?
Yeah. There's a little bit about it on our website. And we've been working with Mary Black. We've had some preliminary discussions with the leadership of the Spartanburg city government. We've had a couple of kind of meetings, but not a formal fundraiser yet. So what we're hoping to do with the project that you're helping us with, there'll be a lot of representatives and business executives, people from philanthropic organizations in Spartanburg that are interested, but not quite committed yet.
Right.
So we've raised, loosely around 150K. I don't want to disclose too much on the podcast here, but we're hoping that people from the Spartanburg community will come out on the 10th. They'll see the play ball activity. They'll see the slide podcast there. They'll see the community engagement, and it will kind of motivate and inspire them and kind of galvanize them into action and say, hey, here's what we can do at Duncan Park. And if you guys haven't been to Duncan Park in a while, they could definitely use a little renovation and some love.
Yeah, there is no doubt. Like, our city, and Adrian is a hometown friend. So his organization is helping right now parks and around the area that I live. But there's our community continues to grow, and we don't have enough fields. We literally have to split fields with teams to even get practices in. So what this foundation is doing for our community is made a significant improvement. And for communities out there that's listening, I know we had TAMS. Actually, when this episode released, I don't think TAMS will actually be released yet, but because we're going to release this one early. But you'll hear another episode coming in the future of TAMS, Illinois, where they really rebuilt their youth community and their youth sports. So I love to hear it, and that's why these guys are on the Slide podcast and why we're partnering together, is because we're pushing for the same goal, is to help kids be able to be more interactive. Allie, what you got?
I mean, I just want to say thanks for the opportunity for us to be able to join you guys and help promote, because that's huge. I run a nonprofit girls baseball organization here, and we try and cover worldwide, trying to get these girls out on the field. So just giving opportunities is all the kids need, which is huge. But then I did want to say, I think that might have been the most hyped up intro we've ever had. The two of you were almost on point with the same facial expressions, the same fist bumping. It was hilarious to watch.
we might know each other a little bit, so we'll have to have another episode that's not baseball related, and we'll really expose our roots. So, but very cool. So we've talked quite a few times, and thank you, Allie. That was pretty awesome. We didn't coordinate that. So, and what Allie's referring to as we were listening to the intro music, we were sort of acting out what the announcer said to do. So anyway, all right. So we've got an event coming up, June 10th. We're going to be present. Kyson, the Kid Umpire, is going to be present. We have MLB Playball. We have the Greenville Drive is going to be present. Like, this is a pretty big thing. Adrian, tell us about this thing.
Yeah. So you've been a great partner, and it's going to be on June 10th. So just coming up in a few weeks.
Yep.
The time's going to be from 12 noon to 5:30. We got a litany of events going on. So the first thing we got in partnership with Major League Baseball is a play ball event. And it's really going to be focused on minority youth, boys and girls alike, right? Ages 4 to 9, 4 to 10. We're going to try to get at least 100 kids out there. I know the most recent play ball activity was over 150. So I had a chance to talk to Aaron this weekend. We really want to hype up that event and get some youth out there. There's going to be a lot of giveaways as well. That's sponsored by Major League Baseball. Nike's a partner as well, which is pretty cool. And the Greenville Drive has also been a big partner. So if you're kind of looking at the agenda, the first hour and a half is really going to be focused on, again, the youth and the play ball activity. After that, it's pretty cool. I believe you're going to be providing one of our teams, Aaron, but we're going to have an 8U baseball game starting right after the play ball event, which will be, loosely 1:30 to 2:30. Bowling Springs versus Polk County. My money's on Bowling Springs, but let's keep that on the podcast right here.
Yep.
But anyway, then we're going to have something really cool. The actual 8U team, they're going to present a community honor, a trophy to the police officers for being community heroes, and a trophy to the fire department and the firefighters for being community heroes as well. Last time we had some nice medallions around their neck, kind of like Mr. T style.
Yep.
And we, saw the youth hang the medallions, including Jace was there. It was really cool. This time we're going to go with the trophy and honor the work they're doing to keep our communities safe. Then afterwards, there's going to be a police officer versus a fire department game between 3 and 5. And we're going to have a ton of giveaways too, man. I mean, a lot of free tickets. I believe we're going to have over 500 free tickets to the Greenville Drive baseball game. A lot of swag, a lot of tchotchkes, koozies, cups, baseballs. I know the Slide podcast is going to be there with Kyson, the Kid Umpire. There's going to be food available at the concession stand, a live DJ, spinning old school records in between the game, hyping the crowd up. But it's going to be a great event. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think the play ball event I'm looking forward to, even though I don't fall in the ages of 4 to 9, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be present. Allie, don't laugh. It's okay. And then, so then we're going to have an 8U game, which will be, some of the kids from our area, against some kids from that area. So we're going to have some fun. So last year, Allie, the team that I brought got beat. And you know what happened is we we gave them another inning. We were like, you know what? We'll just play another inning because we were winning, and then we got beat. So, and guess who's the coach that volunteered for that additional inning? That was me. So anyway, it was okay though. I mean, it was a fun game, but the kids were not happy with me, and I even had a parent or two say something to me. So it was all fun. So, but man, I know
maybe that's why you're not coaching All-Stars this year.
No, I'm not coaching All-Stars this year just because I want to see the effect for my son. So, but
Just enjoy it.
Well, and I'm not going to coach this game either. So I'm going to take a different approach for this game, and I'm going to watch him play, and I'm going to be a spectator, and I'm going to let him do his thing. So I'm going to take Daddy Ball of this version out of the equation. So no Daddy Ball, no more. Anyway, so Adrian, man, I mean, I know we're very excited. We're going to have a lot of things going on. What's the future look like? So Adrian Dallara Foundation, so Duncan Park, that's a big part. I think we're expecting that to be next year when that project's finished?
Yeah, we're looking at probably the fall of 2024. And it's a shame that the viewers at home or the listeners at home can't view what I'm going to show you. But if you check this out, Aaron, it's a sketch of the park. So we've already got preliminary sketches of the Duncan Park project. And just to kind of tell the listeners at home, it conveys an image of what the ball field and plaza is going to look like. We're actually going to do both ball fields. So we're going to add in grass in the infield, all new turf there, additional lighting, a new digital scoreboard, a renovated concession stand, a paved plaza, new bleachers. We're going to complement those updated trails that they have kind of surrounding Duncan Park. So the hiking trails are going to be renovated. And it's all going to be under the leadership of the Harry Dallara Foundation, as well as Spartanburg, South Carolina. But if you haven't heard the name Mark Byington, he's a great partner. He's also one of our board members, but he's a highly experienced landscape architect, which is really cool. So instead of buildings, he's a landscape architect, which is a phenomenal vision he has for the actual park. And he's done a ton of projects in Spartanburg already. He did the Mary Black Foundation headquarters. So if you're familiar with how that looks when you pull into Mary Black, that was Mark Byington. He's done the landscaping for the garden renovation at Montgomery Commons. And he also did the design for the original plans and statues at Barnett Park, which I didn't know.
Okay. I didn't.
So this he's kind of a living legend there in both the upstate as well as Tryon, but it's going to be both ball fields. And it's also going to focus on specific zip codes, 29301, 303, 306, 330, and 372, all beginning with 29. And the thing about it is, if you look at the actual flyer, which I know you're doing some really cool advertising, Aaron, I wasn't too familiar with the Nike RBI program. I mean, I was familiar with the play ball activity, but I looked it up the other day, and they're affiliated with not just Major League Baseball, but their mission statement is kind of like the Harry Dallara Foundation, to increase access to baseball, to focus on minority youth, underserviced youth. And if you think about it, baseball in general requires more equipment than, say, other sports. If I want to play soccer, I've got a ball, 2 goals. I want to play basketball, I've got a court, I can go out in public, I've got 1 ball, and I've got 2 nets. But baseball does require, some additional material. So we were proud to announce that we just donated $10,000 of minority baseball equipment to the YMCA last month in Spartanburg, South Carolina. So they've been a great partner. You'll see that on the flyer next to the slide, logo and insignia. But in other words, this Duncan Park project's pretty big, man. And we got some big plans for it.
For listeners out there, Adrian, like if there's anybody out there looking to donate, how would they look that up, and who would they get in contact with to donate?
Yeah, great question. I appreciate you saying that. So if you go to Harry Dallara, and just to make sure the spelling's right, it's kind of, an Italian last name is Harry, and then Dallara Foundation.org. And when you come to the homepage, you're going to see a quick video about my grandfather, his legacy, a little bit about what we established it for, to honor his legacy and how much he loved baseball in Harmon Field. But if you scroll down, there's a little yellow button that says donate, and it's on the bottom left-hand side. And if you click on the donate, you can go in there and you can choose to donate $1, $5, $100, $1,000, and it will say donate to the Harry Dallara Foundation. And you also have an option to make it a monthly donation. There's a little box you can check there. You can do a one-time donation. You can also donate with PayPal or use a debit or credit card. And then, of course, write it off on your taxes as a nonprofit charitable 501c contribution. So it is a little hidden, but the cool thing about it, I'm playing around with the website while we're recording this podcast, and it looks like every single page, whether it's the mission statement, if you click on the future project for Duncan Park, if you want to see the bas-relief plaque honoring the Tryon All-Stars, every single page, you'll find that small yellow donate button in the left-hand corner, right under the copyright for the Harry Dallara Memorial Foundation.
Oh, y'all take food stamps?
We do not. We do not.
No food
We do
stamps.
not take Bitcoin or crypto either. Sorry.
Ah,
No, trying to get rid
cryptocurrency.
of those Doge coins.
Oh, Allie, any final questions for this gentleman?
No, I think what you were saying earlier of trying to get the hometown connections to come in and support your mission statement when renovating these fields, that's one of the most important things. And you guys really strive to make the connection with the families, with the communities, and then bring in the history to it. So, I mean, I just want to bring that up because I think that's huge. And I hope cities that want renovations, that want to support their history, come reach out and can get things going.
Yeah, because I honestly, they're uncovering history that, you know, someone like myself that's lived here my entire life, that they're teaching me history that I didn't know existed in this area. So, I mean, it's great stuff. I mean, if you're looking, if you've got, you know, areas that you think would benefit from the Harry Dallara Foundation, make sure to reach out. I know these guys would definitely be interested. I know Adrian initially said North Carolina, South Carolina, but you guys have some plans with some other states, right?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we've been
Conversations.
looking at Georgia. We've been looking at Georgia as well as Northern Florida. And, you know, I listen to the podcast myself, even if you weren't my friend, Aaron, I just love listening to it. You got a lot of great guests, a lot of good energy. But if you think about the mission statement and the purpose, we're not just getting, you know, minority youth in general involved in sports and activity. It builds teamwork, camaraderie, leadership skills. We're also honoring local vets and righting the wrongs of the past when it comes to diversity and inclusion. And I think every single subsequent ballpark will not just honor those African-American players that weren't able to get onto the same fields 50, 70 years ago. You know, you think about the legacy that Jackie Robinson left behind. You think about, you know, my grandfather being a Purple Heart and all the heroes, the local heroes that are located everywhere in America, Spartanburg,
Right.
Atlanta, you know, Greenville. It doesn't matter. There's always somebody that we can honor and give back to the community. You know, in today's day and age, if we can get kids away from the iPhones and the video games and the iPad for a 9-inning game, that's also a great thing too, you know?
That's exactly right. Get kids off the phones and on the ballpark.
And look,
100%.
a lot of the military service members played ball in high school, you know, so having that taken away from them because they went and served our country, being able to honor them through baseball is huge too.
Yeah, it is.
Well, you know, there's the old saying, this is American as baseball and apple pie. Well, some things just shouldn't go away. I think some traditions are there for a reason. And I think apple pie is delicious and I love to play baseball. So let's bring them both to the 10th of June for the event.
That's right. June
If
10th.
apple pie's there, I might fly out.
Well, look, I'll have somebody make you a homemade apple pie, you know, from the South. I can have it, you know, homemade, local grown apples. We'll have to see about getting some frequent flyer miles and get you out here. Well, very cool. Adrian, it has been awesome to have you on the show. I know you mentioned the website. You guys have an Instagram as well. It's the Harry Dallara Foundation is how you'll find the Instagram on social media. You know, look up this foundation because, you know, when we talk about the spirit of our show, the spirit of most things should be focused around the youth. And that's what this foundation is based on. That's what our show is based on. Because if we really want to make a difference, we got to start now with our youth. We can't wait for someone in Washington, D.C. to actually act like they care. We got to make a difference ourselves. And so we appreciate being a partner with the foundation, the Harry Dallara Foundation, and giving us an opportunity to help make this thing pretty awesome. So, Adrian, thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing everybody out there on June 10th. Thanks for having me.
All right.
Aaron.
Hey, you're not done yet. You're not done yet. All right. So last question that gets asked to everybody on the show. All right. And he says he listens, Allie. So
I was going to say, good thing he listens, so he's prepared, right?
I hope so. So Adrian, you listen. So you're walking up to bat. What's going to be your walkout song? And I can't wait for this.
Oh man, I've thought about this a lot. I can only choose one.
Only one.
Geez. And you got me on the spot. I should have thought of that before we started recording.
I on purpose didn't remind him of that, Allie. That was very on purpose, because this question, we had a doctor on the other night, and when we got to this question, she had to slow down and think. So,
the crazy thing about it, so I love all kind of music, but for this particular in the moment question, I'm going to say the walkout song would be the beginning of Nas' Made You Look.
okay.
That
All
instrumental loop at the beginning, that just gets me amped up to walk up to home plate.
All right, Allie, you know that one?
I do. And it could be a good kickoff for that June 10th event.
I think so.
Oh, hey, here's some trivia for you. You weren't expecting this either, Aaron. So the DJ, the guy we used last time when you were there, he found our YouTube video.
Oh, no, he didn't.
Yeah, he was
now
trying to look
now
up
you're
the
telling all of
foundation.
our listeners that there's a YouTube video out there.
I'm not trying to shamelessly plug it, but we do have over 300 hits now. So.
Yeah. So Adrian and I did karaoke at my wedding, and we did Ice Ice Baby, which is our, like, if we're at a karaoke bar, that's our song. We met Vanilla Ice together. We got to hang out with him a little bit together. And so that's like our song. So we've done it in Fort Lauderdale, Miami Beach. Man, we did it in Baltimore. We've done it everywhere. So yeah, shameless plug, but yeah, go Google us on YouTube and look for Pridmore Wedding. You'll find a couple videos there. Allie, I don't want to hear anything. Actually, you know what? It's not even, it was pretty good. It was good.
I'll rap that entire song. So I'm down to join you for some karaoke with Ice Ice Baby.
Look, I'm gonna tell you, we don't even need words. Like I remember the DJ was like, I didn't even have to bring out the board. So
I just looked it up, Aaron. Based on the math, we're averaging 2 clicks a month.
There we go. Hey,
28 to 30 views a year. It's 10 years ago we posted it.
And I think every one of those views have been us.
Friends and family. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for listening out there, for listening. I know you've got other things you can choose to listen to, some of the great music we talk about on the show, of course, but thank you for taking the time out and to listen to us. And if you got a superstar, a baseball player, a coach, a parent out there that you'd like to hear from on the show, please make sure to reach out to us and share that information. So, Allie, we're at the end, and I'm going to let Adrian do this one just because, why not? So at the end of the show, Adrian, we always say, until next time, we'll catch you on the slide. And so you're going to fill in the blanks, so we'll catch you on the slide. All right.
All right.
All right. So all our listeners, thank you. Be safe out there. Have a great rest of the day that you're having now. And until next time,
we'll catch you on the slide.
There we go.